Ladies, it's time to take control of our finances. If you are looking for ways to have your money work for you, listen up. These are the best high interest savings account currently in Canada. I took some notes, so if I'm looking off to the side, I'm just referring to my notes, but let's get started. You might be wondering, what is a high interest savings account? Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an account that gives you a higher interest than a traditional savings account. By putting your money here, you are just enabling yourself to work towards your financial freedom. As the year progresses, interest rates tend to fluctuate, and this is dependent on several different things, such as the economy, inflation at that time, the supply and demand of credit, competition between banks, and so forth. So I've done my research and I've looked up the current best banks offering great deals for 2025 as of February. So let's start going through that list. The first bank on my list is CIBC. I currently bank with them, but that is not the reason why I have them on my list. So hear me out. Let's just go through it. So if this is your first time banking with CIBC, they are currently offering a promotional interest rate of 5% for the first 4 months. You need to be careful with this because those promotional rates are great for the first 4 months that you join the bank, but then you should also take a look at the normal interest rate. So CIBC is offering 0.25 to 1.10%, depending on your daily closing balance. I'm not going to go too in depth about everything that I do mention in this video, but at the end, I will give you a strategy that you can use moving forward when you do decide which bank it is you'd like to move forward with. Another good thing to note is the other interest. They have a smart interest. Basically, when you add an additional $200 per month to your savings account, you get an additional 0.25% interest. So it says 25 here, but it's 0.25% interest. I'll leave it like that just to make sure that you guys are actually listening. So this is also good to know. There is no expiration to that. This just continues onwards as you continue to bank with CIBC. And then the con is there is a monthly fee on the checking account if your daily balance every day is not over 4K. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's move on. The next bank on my list is Scotiabank. I used to bank with them when I first moved to Canada, but I no longer bank with them. But that's besides the point. So they are offering a 5.10% for the first 3 months that you join their bank. And then after that promotional period, the interest rate will drop to 0.65%. So that's just something for you to think about. I mean, the 5.10% is great for the first 3 months, but this is what's going on afterwards. Pay attention to that. And then as for other interest, they have a premium period interest rate. This is something that will continue on forever as long as you fall between the terms that they have set into place. But basically, this is between 0.25 to 0.55, depending on the periods. So you will have to read into that, but that's a nice to have, definitely. The con about this is there is a monthly fee on your checking account for your daily balances that fall underneath 4K. Let me just explain this a little bit. So every day, you have to have at least $4,000 in your checking account. If you don't, then you will be charged a monthly fee. I don't know what theirs is. I could have looked this up, but you can easily find that on the internet. So let's move on. The next bank on my list is BMO. I have no experience on this bank, but based on my research, this is currently one of the better banks out there as of February. So they have a promotional interest rate of about 5% right now. That interest rate is falling into action between February 3rd and May 31st. So that's about 3 more months from today. After that time period, their normal interest rate drops to 0.90%. I wasn't able to really find anything in regards to other interest rates. There might be something out there, but I wasn't able to find anything. And then the last is their con. So they also have that monthly fee on your checking account for daily balances under 4K. So That's it for BMO, and then let's move on. This is the last bank. This is actually my favorite bank, and I will explain why in a moment. The last bank on my list is Tangerine. Tangerine is one of my favorite banks out there in Canada for many reasons. I currently bank with them, and if you have any friends that are into finance in Canada, you might have heard of Tangerine, but if not, we'll just go through the list and I'll explain why. So Tangerine is also offering a promotional interest rate for first-time Tangeriners. Their interest rate is 4.5% for 5 months. So the 4.5 isn't as great as the other banks that I've just mentioned, but the period is longer, so that is a benefit. If we move down to the normal interest rate, after that 5-month period is over, the interest rate does fall down to 0.3%, which isn't great, but hear me out. So as for the other interest rate, I wrote, you'd be surprised what happens when you ask for a better rate. So Tangerine is one of those banks that I've noticed that when you move your money out of the bank, after a few weeks or so, they do tend to offer you a promotional rate again. So they might offer you a 4% again or 4.5% for another 5-month period. Or if you pick up the phone and call their customer support line and ask them if they have a better interest rate that they could offer you at that time, you might be surprised because the likelihood of them saying yes and offering you a better percentage is very high. So I've been banking with Tangerine for a very long time now. They offered me the 4.5%, which is only offered to new members. After that period had expired, I picked up the phone and I called them, and they gave me a better interest rate than the 0.3% of 3.6%. So I just wanted to throw that out there because, like they say, closed mouths don't get fed. So you'd be surprised what happens when you ask for things. The likelihood of them offering you a better rate is very high. A few other things I wanted to mention about Tangerine is when you take a look at GICs in your TFSA or outside your TFSA, and then just rates being offered in your RRSP, Tangerine is one of those banks that offers one of the better rates out there. You might think I'm being sponsored, but I'm not. I've just had such a great experience with Tangerine overall. And so I definitely recommend you take a look, do your own research, and maybe open up a Tangerine's account if you don't currently have one. Now for that strategy. If I was you, what I would do is open up 2 bank accounts. Those bank accounts could be 2 of the ones that I just mentioned, or it could be one of these and also your bank account. I would take advantage of the promotional interest rates, move a lot of my savings into that specific bank while the promotional period is going on. And then after that promotional period is going on, if the bank does not offer you a better rate, pick up your money and move it elsewhere. So it's very inconvenient having to do this amongst several different bank accounts. That's why I say stick to 2. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Stay tuned because I will be coming out with more financial videos down the line for women all over the globe. If you have any questions, leave it down. Let's have a chat down in the comment section below.